All right. What's up, you guys? Apparently, I didn't have my mic selected, so it wasn't working at first. But hope you guys are doing well. We got some business to do. Before we get started, this is for you, Max. I know you've been waiting for me to do this for a minute. So, I remember he was wanting me in the previous live stream to try Sprite and lemonade mix. I got some lemonade. I don't want to spill it everywhere, but there's some lemonade in there, I promise. Um, as well as I do got the Sprite, okay? Not a sponsor, by the way. I'm not being sponsored by Sprite. So I got this thing filled up halfway. It's filled up halfway. Max, is it half and half, or is it like a third and 2/3, or what is it? Because I got it. I got the Sprite. I got the lemonade. I promised you, man. I promise you do it. What's up, guys? Good to see you all. What's up, Uncleared? Hope you're doing well. It's been bad fog for the last 2 days. Yeah, it's been pretty bad out there. I was actually looking at satellite earlier. It does seem to be pretty foggy for a lot of places here. But we'll get into the severe weather side of things here in 1 second. I just need to hear from Matt here. Let's see here. So is it bad or good? It has to be good for a donation. Gotcha. I mean, honestly, I like them both, so I don't see why I wouldn't like it. So, anyways, oh my goodness, dude. Dixie and Christy coming in with both $20 super chats right off the bat. Holy cow. Oh my goodness. Thank you guys so much for that. Dude, no freaking way, man. Thank you guys. Y'all in chat, please give Christy and Dixie a big shout out. That is just crazy. All right, I'm going to do half and half now. We're going to go ahead and get this over with so I can get into the live stream here. So we can actually talk about severe weather and stuff here. I just realized I don't have anything to mix it with. I have a Sharpie. I'm going to mix it with a Sharpie. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but here we go. All right, we got that lemonade Sprite mix right here. Giving it a go. Dude, he's on to something. That is, I'm not just saying that. That is actually really good, and I'm probably going to drink this whole thing on stream. I'm not even kidding with you guys. Dude, this thing is absolutely delicious. 100%. I think I made my lemonade a little too sweet because I kind of threw it together. But, dude, that is good. That is really freaking good. Yeah, I made that lemonade way too sweet. I honestly really recommend that, man. I highly recommend that. Anyways, what's up, Christy? Good to see you. Long time no chat. I know it's quite a stream for you guys to join with me doing that in the beginning. Crystal, thank you so much for the $1 super chat. Also, thank you for the $2 earlier. I forgot to say thank you. I think I said it in chat here, but anyways, guys, good to see you all. Hope everyone is doing well. Just wanted to get that out of the way because I promise Max I'll try it on stream, and which we did. All right, so let's talk about this weather here, y'all. So we do have ourselves a threat for Thursday, or day 4, which we do have that threat across portions of southern Illinois, southern Indiana, southwestern Ohio, portions of central and western Kentucky, including Louisville, Lexington, Bowling Green area. We do have that threat, as well as southeastern Missouri. We do have a 15% risk here for severe weather, which is equivalent to a slight risk here overall. So that is that. Let's see here. What's up, D? Good to see you. Saying evening, Andrew. Good evening. Let's see here. But question: since someone ruined the goal for me, and can I come up with a new? No, man. Come on. I bought the Sprite. I brought the lemonade. Come on, dude. Nah, man. I did it. That's all that matters. But anyways, like I said, we do have a thread here for Thursday, which we're going to need to look out for. I do want to bring up the models here. I don't think obviously the RRFS does not reach out this far, so we're going to need to use like the NAM, probably the GFS, honestly. So let's pull up GFS here. I'm going to bring up the instability. So this is basically the fuel in the atmosphere here for these potential storms. Let's see, try sweet tea, eliminate. See, I like Arnold Palmer. Not a big fan of sweet tea itself, but you know, I know I got a lot of hate from that in the last one, but yeah, no, honestly, Arnold Palmer's is about as far as I'll go with sweet tea. Sometimes sweet tea's just too sweet. Anyways, so yeah, we do have ourselves a bit of instability here that's going to be present on Thursday, in which we'll be seeing likely a little bit of a severe weather event popping off. Now, around this time, I'm actually just going to grab a sounding real quickly. Around this time, we do have ourselves, quite a bit of an, a pretty strong wind sheared environment as well. So this is for the evening of Thursday. We do have ourselves, you can see a little bit of a curvature on our hodograph, indicating that, the winds are veering in the lower atmosphere, which that is a key thing for potential tornadic activity. Also given that our helicity values, the effective inflow layer is about 234. I'm not going to get too in depth because I know a lot of people aren't really familiar with these terms. But essentially what's going on here for everybody to understand is that the lower atmosphere is going to potentially have some turn to it because the winds are simply changing their direction and wind speed with altitude. So definitely, definitely going to keep an eye out there for it. We're definitely going to be doing coverage on Thursday, and I'll keep on, keeping you guys up to date with everything. But anyways, so the dew point here, this is, really good for moisture content, in which we are in the 60s. Dew points in the 60s is perfect for, severe weather. So we got that going for us. A bit of a dry mid-level atmosphere too. Honestly, I wouldn't even rule out potential hail concerns as well. I think the main problem here, y'all, is going to probably be damaging winds following a potential tornado concern. Once again, given some of these soundings, actually, I went through the models here a little bit before we went live, and we did see that, the environment is going to be capable for that. So definitely got to keep an eye out there for Thursday. Once again, the areas included is here in the yellow, oval that you guys can kind of see. Once again, for areas of Missouri, areas of Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky. So that is where the risk is as of now. Now, obviously, that can change a little bit. This is day 4. This is for Thursday, so it's about 4 days out. Well, today's pretty much over with. So this will be pushed into day 3 for the next update tomorrow, which it's not going to be until, let's see, what is it? Tuesday. It's not going to be until, what is it? No, Wednesday, sorry. It's not going to be until Wednesday until we have the exact probability breakdown from the National Weather Service, for that exact tornado probability, for that exact hail, and that exact damaging wind probability. So we'll figure that out here on Wednesday or the day before the event here. But there is a risk here. Once again, this is from the Storm Prediction Center saying that these areas are under a severe weather risk here, given at least a 15% chance probability of seeing severe weather within a 25-mile radius of a given area located in this yellow area. So these areas are actively at risk here. Let's see, Max, I'm not going to, man. What's up? Just good to see ya. Saying, hey, ya. What's happening? We got ourselves a threat for Thursday. We're keeping an eye out there for. That's kind of the main topic here for today. Matter of fact, out west, we actually had some pretty crazy upper level snowfall. Actually, I do want to bring you guys over here to this real quickly. So for portions of California, like on those upper elevations, look at this. Total snow accumulations of 3 to 5 foot above 6,000 feet, with 5 to 7 feet over the highest elevations. That is just crazy. Could you imagine 5 to 7 foot worth of snowfall? Like, honestly, that's pretty darn wild here. But anyways, we do have ourselves, quite a bit of snowfall. I do want to mention that as well. We have quite a bit of activity going on here. We got some high wind warnings in effect here. Whoa, particularly dangerous situation. What's this about? See here, humidity as low as 9%. Wow. And winds 35 to 45 miles an hour, gusting to 65. So that is just pure fire conditions. Low relative humidity, as well as strong winds. The humidity dries things out, and the winds carry the fire and spread the fire. So obviously that's going to be a bit of a problem out here. We do have quite a bit of a fire threat, for a lot of these central plains here. You can see through a lot of like South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, portions of Oklahoma, even Texas. Eastern Colorado, definitely seeing quite a bit here. Let's see here. Alex says, could there be a severe threat Friday in the Mid-Atlantic to Jersey? I don't think so. The models here, we hop on back over to the weather models here, and we'll pull back up our instability. I think a lot of the fuel kind of fades out by Friday. Obviously, we have Thursday. Yeah, and then on Friday, there's no instability, really. So there's not going to be enough juice for these storms here for Friday. This is strictly going to be mostly a Thursday threat. However, I will say, though, for Friday, it seems like we do have a bit of instability across the Gulf states. You can see like eastern, eastern Texas, including Houston, portions of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and a little bit here of the Panhandle of Florida. There's going to be enough instability, I think, for storms here. Let's just grab a sounding here. I'm just going to randomly pick one here. There is a bit of a capping inversion, so storms might have a bit of a problem firing off in this environment. Wind shear seems pretty weak on the lower levels, so organization, it might be a little iffy. A mid-level flow is pretty good, so it should at least get some type of separation between your updrafts and your downdrafts occurring. Good, good enough wind shear for that. But honestly, I mean, it looks like we could definitely see maybe some storms here. Let's just progress. Yeah, it seems like there might be a bit of a capping inversion here. So what I mean by that is that there's a warm layer in the atmosphere. You can see this little bulge here. So this is where the threat is sorry, not the threat. Sorry, I'm going off the rails here. This is where the temperature actually goes above or actually increases with altitude for a given moment, meaning that the air cannot rise because it is actually it's instead of negatively buoyant, it's positively buoyant, meaning it's sinking. The air is sinking, preventing the air that's going up to continue going upwards. A little bit tricky. I'm not the best teacher. I can't really explain things the best. But anyways, this is important because this can prevent storms from happening or actually make them really struggle at actually forming here. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that. I mean, there could be maybe some type of storm threat here. And then we actually work away into Saturday here, too. It looks like some instability could work its way up towards maybe the southeast here. I mean, this is 123 hours out, but there's definitely still a bit of instability here. Let's compare that with the euro. It's good to get more than one opinion here. With the models here. Let's pull this back up. We'll do most unstable Cape here, just to take a look at the fuel. Yeah. So also according to the euro here, we'll have enough fuel possibly for some storm activity here. So that'll be for a lot of the deep south here. We'll be getting some fuel for some storms here between pretty much later this week for the most part. But yeah, the main thing is like I said, on Thursday, that's where the Storm Prediction Center already has a risk for severe weather. And honestly, I mean, this is a pretty good, taste of spring. We're getting a little bit closer, obviously, to springtime, I should say, because it is already mid-February, which is hard to believe. But yeah, really next month, March is whenever we really start to see some severe weather potential. That's whenever severe weather usually starts ramping up quite a bit. But, it's already showing some signs of doing such. Christy says, don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate it, Christy. Once again, thank you guys seriously so much for the donations. You guys are amazing. I really, really, really appreciate y'all. So huge shout out goes to Dixie and Christy. You guys are amazing. Also, shout out goes to Crystal as well. Seriously, you guys, you all are absolutely amazing. I really, really appreciate the support. It really, really made my night. It means a lot to me. So thank you. Thank you so much. Anyway, so I do want to overlay the lower level winds here too, just so I can kind of see what our kinematics looks like on a better view. So let's pull up our 850 millibar winds. So these are our lower level winds here, which is very important for these, for like tornadic activity and just for storms in general. If we were to pull up this here, we'll actually make our barbs a little bit bigger. So it looks like, according to, this is the Euro, the ECMWF. So as we approach our way into the afternoon of Thursday, it seems like we're not going to have a super significant lower level jet, maybe about 20, maybe 30 knots, of winds flowing northeast in our lower levels. So if I was to, let's say, we'll just draw a nice little arrow in the direction these lower level winds are flowing, and we'll compare that to the mid-level winds. Because, having that change in wind direction and an increase in wind speed is important for, like, tornadic activity and such. So now if I was to pull up the mid-level flow, we'll actually take a look at that here now, which you can obviously see, yeah, the mid-level flow is moving. I could probably draw that a little bit better. But, yeah, mid-level winds, this is about 20,000 feet up or so, is moving almost directly eastward. So you can obviously see that change in wind direction there, And also these wind speeds are about 90 knots, honestly. Wow. That is really, really fast moving winds here. This is at, let's see, like I said, this is about 20,000 feet here or so. Christy, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. Holy cow. Thank you so much, Christy. You are awesome, my friend. If you guys could, please give Christy a big thank. Dude, no way, man. Christy coming in with another 10 memberships? Dude. Christy, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate it. If there's anything I could do to help you out or anything, please let me know. Holy cow, dude. Y'all, if you guys could, especially if you've gotten a membership from Christy, please give Christy a big thank you. That is just really sweet of you, my friend. Thank you, seriously, from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. It helps out way more than you think. So thank you, seriously, so much for that. Goodness, you definitely didn't have to do that, my friend. Thank you so much. Can never say it enough, honestly. I really appreciate you guys. Uncle says, is Northeast Ohio at the risk for heavy damaging wind gusts on Thursday? As of now, no. The main threat for Ohio for Thursday will be for Southwest Ohio. Areas like Cincinnati is in the risk here. You can kind of see. So Cincinnati right here is in that at least 15% threat here for. Actually, I need to tell the developers about this little bug here. You can see that the wind barbs are overlaying the map here. But yeah, no, there is a threat for Southwest Ohio. As of now, there is not one for Northeast Ohio. Now, it doesn't really look like the models have a lot of that instability working its way up that far. Seems like a lot of the fuel for these storms is mostly going to be in, this region here. Matter of fact, though, the ECMWF, the Euro, shows instability further up north, further up into Illinois. We'll look at the models here. Although I will mention that the dew points are a lot lower here. Not as much moisture involved. There is a bit of instability, though, and the winds are a lot weaker throughout the atmosphere. That's probably why they did not include these areas in the severe weather risk. It's not, because less moisture, weaker winds, which is just not as crazy, of an environment as per se the risk area is. So, that's that. Let's see here. Isaac says, any chance for severe storms on the south side of Saturn tomorrow? I have a road trip there. Funny. Saturn, I know there's probably a Saturn or a town called Saturn or whatever, so I'm not sure. If there is, let me know, but if you're talking about the planet, that's pretty funny. Anyways, moving on here. Is there a tornado threat for Indianapolis? As of now, yes. Yeah, the SPC does have Indianapolis inside of that risk here. Let's actually go ahead and remove the instability there so you can kind of see that. So yeah, Indianapolis is under the 15% risk here for severe weather overall. So definitely we'll have to keep an eye out there for that. Let's see. Can I see if Knoxville should prepare for tornadoes Thursday? So Knoxville is outside of the risk area here. From the Euro here, it doesn't look like we're going to have that much instability available. We might have little pockets of weak instability. Here, let's compare that with the American GFS. Obviously, it's good to look at multiple models, and it's never good to look at just one model alone. That's not really a good way to do things. So, but yeah, I mean, honestly, between both of the models, though, there's just really not a lot of instability over Knoxville, so I don't think we're going to have much of a threat. At least from what the model guidance kind of suggests as of now, I do not think we're going to be having a tornado threat or anything like that out there. Let's see. Crystal says, is Dayton included? Dayton is right on the line, actually. Dayton is just outside of that 15% risk here, but further updates from the Storm Prediction Center could easily push you into the risk area. I would consider watching for it because, I mean, obviously you're right on the risk there, but you're not in it, but you're right on the border of it. So, I mean, it's something to keep an eye out there for. ATR says, when do I think that peak tornado season will be for upstate South Carolina? I'm ready for tornado season. We normally get our best tornado risks in March. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty typical. The later months you go, the higher north the severe weather tends to go because you're introducing more of the warmer air further and further north pretty much every month, and more moisture will be available. But yeah, no, honestly, yeah, you're pretty much right. It'll be sometime kind of in maybe March. I used to live up in Virginia, which is obviously a little bit further north of you. And it seemed like we get our severe weather pretty much in like June. We actually get ours a little bit late as comparing to other people. But yeah, given that you're further south, obviously it's going to come a little bit earlier, which, yeah, I mean, honestly, probably Probably about May or so is when you could really start to see some of that. I mean, just based off of previous years. I mean, that's typically whenever we do see a lot of that. Let's see here. Do I think that more of Western and Northwestern Ohio could possibly end up in the risk for Thursday? I mean, given the way models are, I mean, there is going to be some potential instability out there, but like I mentioned earlier, we don't have as much moisture available, which is obviously going to lower the storm potency, in which we do have, we do have some instability, like we mentioned. There is some fuel or, some unstable air in the environment. The lower level winds are a lot weaker, so the threats would be minimized. They would be lower, at least for like tornadoes or whatever. I mean, it would be a much lower threat. But like I mentioned, in terms of moisture, we don't really have a whole lot of moisture available. I mean, our dew points are in the lower 50s, which, I mean, typically for severe weather, you want them in the 60s and 70-degree dew point range, which will be supplying a lot of moisture to these storms. So yeah, and also, like I said, just in general, the winds are weaker, which could hurt the organization of these storms and what they could, potentially do. But yeah, honestly, it's hard to say right now. I mean, if models do start to say, hey, okay, this might be a little bit more stronger than we previously thought, then maybe. But from the guidance that we have right now, I don't think so. Let's see here. Christy says, what about Mount Vernon, Kentucky? I got you, my friend. It's the least I could do after all the help that you've given us today. I really appreciate it. So Mount Vernon, I believe is, let's see here. You guys are just south of Lexington. I believe Mount Vernon is just barely in this. Yeah, so Mount Vernon is in that 15% risk here. So, Christy, I mean, definitely need you to keep an eye out there for it. Here on Thursday, of course. I mean, you can see this is a 15% risk here for severe weather. So basically, within a 25-mile radius around you, there is a 15% chance of severe weather occurring within that radius. So there is potential, absolutely. The region where you're in is under a potentially decent environment for severe weather. And like I mentioned, the main threat, I believe, is mostly going to be damaging wind gusts, as well as, maybe a couple isolated tornadoes. But, specifically the odds of you getting a tornado obviously is really, really low. But still, it's something that we do need to, look out here for. Anyways, let's see here. Prepper says, hello, my friend from East Tennessee. What's up? Good to see you. Saying sorry, a long time no check in, dealing with bad health issues. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry to hear that. See, cancer treatment sucks, but they say they've got it all. Well, that's good. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. See, going back to work and can listen to you. Sounds good. I'm really sorry to hear that, and just stay strong, my friend. I'm here for you if you need anything. I really appreciate you stopping by, though. Thank you, and I hope everything goes well for you, my friend. Last question before I head out. What about Birmingham for Friday? Are you talking about Alabama? So Birmingham, like I mentioned, will have some instability, probably more on late Friday, early Saturday. Let me grab a sounding here, kind of see it. Okay. All right, I do see some problems right off the bat here. It looks like there was a bit of a capping inversion. Storms, at least to start, might have a little bit of a hard time forming, but I mean, there is an environment in which storms could definitely exist. Definitely will keep an eye out there for this area. I mean, you could see that, from both, look, you're looking at the Euro and the GFS. I mean, there's going to be enough fuel, for these storms, enough moisture, enough fuel in the atmosphere here, for, these storms to exist. Now, I'm going to grab the sounding again here. The wind shear actually seems to be pretty strong too, which, really kind of organizes these storms here. But yeah, you can see maybe a little bit of veering, but at that point, there's a little bit of a capping inversion there. Yeah, we'll have to, we'll definitely just have to keep an eye out there for that. But I do think there could be something here. It's just something we need to kind of wait and see how the models kind of handle it. Anyways. All right, let's see here. Yeah, that's crazy, Isaac. Christy says, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps others stay prepared and safe. I really appreciate it, Christy. Seriously, thank you for all the support tonight. I really appreciate it. What's up, John, man? Good to see you. Saying, what's up? How have you been? I've been pretty good. Thanks for asking. I hope you're doing good yourself. Crystal says, I don't like storms. I don't blame you. I had a crazy storm yesterday. Florida got hit really, really hard. Here, let's see if I can pull this up for you. My phone's about to die, so I gotta hurry up here. We had a crazy storm here. Look at this. This is my Mesonet, my weather station that I have. You can see the lightning going right over my weather station. There's my anemometer there. You can see it was quite crazy. I mean, I got a lot of different photos too. Here's another one that was close up. It was loud too. There was this one thunder, or this one lightning that hit, and it was being a super loud thunder. It was a cloud to ground lightning strike, and it struck right at the entrance of my neighborhood, and it ended up knocking out our internet for like 5 hours yesterday because apparently it struck a box or something. It was crazy. It was quite a it's just it's quite a storm, man. I tell you, it was wild. Let's see here. See, okay, just curious. Still in Florida, but have land. Oh, I got you. Got you, Christy. Let's see here. Chris says, thank you, Andrew. Of course, I got you. No problem. Christy, seriously, thank you. Like I said, I can't say it enough. I really appreciate it, guys. All of y'all who supported us. I just can't say thank you enough. Really appreciate you guys. What does Georgia look like for Thursday? As of now, for Thursday, doesn't look like a whole lot. It doesn't look like there's going to be really any instability available for Florida, or sorry, not Florida, Georgia, on Thursday. However, that could be a little different though. Maybe more for Saturday. It seems like there could be some fuel in the atmosphere here. Let's pull up the Euro, compare these two. Yeah, so it seems like potentially Saturday we could see maybe a little bit of instability in the atmosphere, maybe some storms or whatever. Could certainly be a thing here. I just turned off my light. Now I look very greenish blue. Anyways, but like I said, guys, if y'all have any questions, feel free to let us know. But yeah, I mean, like I said here for Thursday for the main threat. I think this could be a decent little event here. I definitely see why they put that 15% risk here. We have enough instability, we have enough moisture, and we do have some pretty strong wind shear, like we mentioned here. So things do look to be, pretty decent overall. And obviously, like I mentioned, we'll continue updating you guys throughout the models, and as they do change and stuff, and we'll be here to keep you guys up to date with everything, and we'll even do some coverage for you guys here on Thursday, of course. Is there any instability for storms in Houston? Yes, actually, there is. We were actually just talking about that not too long ago here, in which we do have ourselves a bit of instability kind of building in for Friday and maybe even going into Saturday. You can actually see the models do show quite a bit of fuel for a lot of these southern states, a lot of the Gulf Coast here, through Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, portions of Florida, of course. We might even have a little bit of activity out here. So so those would be the days that I would keep an eye out there for. Mostly Friday going into Saturday. I think Saturday has your greatest potential because that's where the most instability is going to be there. Christy says, did Florida get hit yesterday? Do I know by tornadoes? We had a threat for tornadic activity. I don't think we had any tornadoes, not that I know of. I saw a couple pop-up severe thunderstorm warnings, but I didn't see any. At least for my area, I didn't really see much tornadic activity. I really don't know about the Panhandle though, because at that point I was asleep because I've been doing night coverage or nighttime. I've been totally nocturnal the last several days, so I've been awake most of the night. Honestly, from what I heard though, I didn't hear anything about tornadoes. But that could be a little different from what actually happened. Because I'm not too sure about at least the northern part of Florida. The central side, I don't think we had anything. See, you like the fire in the background? Yeah, me too. I thought it's a good filler. I think it's good, especially appropriate for this time of the year where it's been pretty cold lately. But anyways, yeah. But Christy, if I find out any more information on it, if you want, I'll let you know. I personally, I don't think we did, but I could be wrong. At least for the northern part of the state. like I said, I did see a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings though that were issued. But anyways, yeah. So like I said, y'all, we'll definitely keep you guys in the loop with everything. I do want to take a moment though to look at the winds here. I do want to pull up the max accumulated wind gusts here for the next couple of days. Because yeah, I heard that we're gonna get quite a bit of strong winds here. I mean, you can see a lot of the country. Wow. So between now and Wednesday, we're going to be getting some really strong winds here throughout the Central Plains. You know, obviously we have those wildfire conditions out there because of really low relative humidity and some strong wind activity. So obviously that's going to be a bit of a concern, obviously between the low humidity and the strong winds, which will carry the fires. In which some of these areas could be seeing some gusts upwards of like 60 miles an hour or so, according to the GFS, which has a pretty strong amount of winds here. A lot of the Midwest here, too, could see maybe 40 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts. Now, remember, gusts is what the winds could peak to, what they could get up to for a few moments. But, you know, sustained winds is what they're constantly blowing at for the most part. But, yeah, I mean, definitely going to be pretty windy. I mean, this goes up into the Ohio Valley, too, where we could see maybe 30, maybe 40 mile an hour wind gusts as well. It's going to be quite a little windy system here. Now, if we compare that to Euro, the ECMWF here, and just to kind of get a little bit of redundancy here, if the models decide that they want to load Euro, pointing at you, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty much the same story here. Let's go back to the 12 UTC run. There we go. You know what though? Honestly, it's really surprising at how different these models are. Matter of fact, honestly, I mean, usually they're in better sync by now. Here, let's do a model side by side comparison here, because that's honestly kind of crazy, just how different they are. I mean, look at that. You guys see that? I mean, this is between now. Hold on a minute. You know what it is? No, I don't think the models are disagreeing. I think it's just the fact that the Euro is not loading properly. Yeah, because it starts loading in on February 20th. Okay. So that's exactly what it is. So it's not that they're different. It's that this model is just loading differently. All right, we'll go back to the 06 run, maybe. Yeah, it just seems like it might be a little bit messed up. I need to maybe contact the developers of this software. Anyways, let's see. Move this back over here. My tripod's in the way, so I have to look around. Anyways, Samuel says Saturday night was crazy bad. See severe thunderstorm, tornado, it was hail. Yeah, you guys got it pretty good out there, out to the west, especially like Louisiana. You guys got hit pretty hard by that system here. Yeah, it was a little rough. Chris says it looks spooky outside with all the fog. Yeah, a lot of people were seeing a lot of fog here. We'll even pull up the current sat view. We'll bring up the current satellite, and we'll pull up GeoColor, which you can see a lot of the fog in the blue here. So this is where the foggy areas are. So this is current satellite view as of right this moment. There's some fog over by the Chesapeake Bay. A little bit of fog out there, just south of Louisiana, quite a bit. We have a lot of cloud cover out west because, like I said, we have that system that's rolling in, which is really bringing in a lot of moisture and a lot of snow, like we mentioned up there for the north. Man, it's crazy stuff. Here, let's backtrack a little bit. We'll go back to the last 24 hours worth of data, so you can see that. So yeah, right here specifically, and you can see where all that fog was. I mean, it was quite aggressive here. Yeah, yesterday. The sun came up, and you can see all that fog across south. It looks like clouds. I mean, it pretty much is. You can see as the sun came out, it started going away. As we got diurnal heating, basically the sun started heating up the surface and just basically removed all that fog there. But yeah, there was quite a bit though, quite a bit. Very thick stuff too. Let's see here. Lubbock, Texas better hang on to their trampolines tomorrow. Oh, it's going to get a little bit windy. Yeah, absolutely. That is true. Wouldn't be a bad thing to maybe bring them down or at least secure them so they don't go anywhere. Guess the groundhog was right. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, usually the funny thing is though is that the groundhog is usually wrong more than it is right. I think it only has like a 30% accuracy I heard or something like that. Which even guessing, usually on average you'd have roughly about a 50-50 shot at making it. It seems like the groundhog is defying odds even of randomness. And it still manages to get below half being correct, if that makes sense. Like that's crazy. That's crazy. But you got to think about it though. I mean, the groundhog seeing a shadow on one specific day means that the sky is cloudy for that specific day really doesn't mean that much. So, it's more for fun than anything, honestly. Anyways. But yeah, guys, if y'all have any questions here, just let us know. I'll be more than happy to help you guys. But we'll keep you guys up to date. Like I said, we'll have to be extra weather aware on Thursday, which is what we're going to be covering here. This is what you're going to probably be hearing about for the next couple of days here, as we do have this threat here. Once again, we have southeastern Missouri included, southern Illinois, southern Indiana, southwest Ohio, bits of central and western Kentucky, which we do have that 15% risk, for severe weather. And like I mentioned, could be tornadoes, could be damaging winds here included. So that's going to be kind of the main concern, I believe, is a mixture between the damaging winds and the and potential tornadic activity. Now, there is one thing I do want to do here real quickly. I do want to bring up our lower level winds again. We'll pull up our wind barbs here, and we'll make our lower level wind barbs, we'll make them green, okay? So this will be ground level, or not ground level, but about 4,000 feet up. It'll be lower levels, what I meant to say. So we have our lower level winds here in green, and then of course we'll bring up our mid-level winds. We'll put them in red so you can obviously see the differences. So lower levels green, upper levels red. So we'll do that. There we go. Okay, I'm going to make these barbs maybe a little bit bigger so that they match, and we'll change the color to red. There you go. So this is really important. So we work our way down in time, like I mentioned, in the Thursday afternoon. Okay, so this is what we got going on here. Now you can obviously see, I'm actually going to make these barb distances a little bit bigger. Here, we'll do barb distance. There we go. So that way we can kind of see them without it being as cluttered. You know what I'm saying? So basically, this is what's really important. You can obviously see here in the environment that the winds are going to be changing direction. So at this particular set of wind barbs here, once again, green being lower levels, red being those upper levels. So you can see that we do have the lower level winds moving in this direction. So going from the southwest to the northeast. And then, of course, we have our mid-level winds, about 20,000 feet. They are going mostly eastward. So obviously there's quite a big change in wind direction and an increase in wind speed with altitude. So on the ground level, it's about 35 knots or so. Or not ground level, sorry, the lower level, about 4,000 feet, it's about 35 knots, while the upper levels at 20,000 feet are pretty much like, or really mid-levels, but in this case, our upper levels are about 75 knots. So that's pretty crazy. That is pretty darn crazy. Let's see, do I ever follow the almanac trends to see if they're right? Not really. See, for me, I'm not as much into climatology as I am into meteorology. I'm more about interested of what's happening within the next couple weeks rather than the next several months. That's my strong suit is more meteorology than climatology. I mean, I know some about climatology, but I'm not as equipped for climatology as I am meteorology. Let's see. Yeah, hopefully, Crystal. Don't want any more of that. Nate says, hey, quick question. Does anyone know what app this is? I'm interested. Yeah, so if you look at the bottom right of the screen, it is aguacerowx.com. You can use code NWW20 for 20% off your first month. So you can check that out. It's actually an official sponsor of our channel here. But yeah, I mean, I love this program. Literally, I'm not just saying this. It is the most customizable program that you could ever wish for with weather. It has like all different models, satellite imagery, radar, as basically everything that you really need for nowcasting and for forecasting. But anyways, so that's pretty much what we're gonna keep an eye out there for you guys. Honestly, I think we're probably gonna roll off here pretty soon. It is getting a little bit late, but I just wanted to hop on here for a bit with you guys, just to kind of show you all what we have in store for the for the severe weather here for today. Or sorry, not for today, for Thursday. And obviously we'll keep you guys informed, and I'll keep you guys updated over the next several days. Thursday, once again, is going to be the big day, and I'll be sure to keep you guys informed. But and once again, we will do coverage on Thursday as well. When's the next live stream? I'm not sure, but probably tomorrow night around this time. Yeah, it'll be sometime tomorrow night. See, Nate says, thank you. Also, love the work you do. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Nate. I appreciate it, my friend. Appreciate it. And you're very, very welcome. Thank you. Really appreciate it. But, yeah, guys, any more questions y'all have, I'll be more than happy to answer. Chris says, thanks, Andrew. You are very welcome. And thank you once again as well, Christy. I really, really appreciate your kind love and support today. Much, much appreciated. Thank you. I always appreciate it. Just can never, like I said, I can never say thank you enough. It means a lot to me. It does. But anyways, are y'all going once, going twice? Any last questions before I roll off here? I feel like we pretty much covered everything. Like I said, also we'll keep it out there for Friday, Saturday, mostly Saturday for the South, for the Gulf Coast. I really do think that we'll need to keep an eye out there for the Gulf Coast. I mean, it could be quite an active day, at least for just a bunch of thunderstorms here. There's a pretty unstable environment. Chris says, thanks never needed. That's not true, Christy. Thanks is always needed, and I will never say it enough. I really, really appreciate it. Alrighty, everybody. Well, I think I'm going to head off here for now. Thank you guys so much for all the kind love and support, as always. And thank you guys just for joining and hanging out with us and choosing me to be your weatherman for the night. Really, really appreciate it. But we'll see you guys here later on tomorrow for another update here on the severe weather. Just stay weather aware. Try not to worry about the system. We'll keep you guys up to date, and we'll be sure to be live, like I said, on the time that the storms do come through. But all right, everybody. Stay weather aware on Thursday. See you guys here in the next one. Peace out, my friends. Catch y'all later on. Y'all have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow.